In today's video, I will show you guys how to make meat pie from scratch. This recipe is super easy and the ingredients are very simple. First things first, let's start with the dough. For the dough, we need 2 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 cup of shortening or butter, and then we'll need water, about 1 cup of water. You can use either shortening or butter. I prefer using shortening because it has a higher smoke point and the end result will be flakier and less tough than if you were to use butter. But feel free to use whatever fat you want. So in a large bowl, add your flour, salt, and pepper. Give it a quick mix. Next, add your shortening. Now, using a pastry blender or 2 forks, cut the shortening into the flour until the mixture resembles coarse crumbs. If you don't have a pastry blender, you can just use your fingers. It will just take a little bit longer. So this is what the mixture should look like once the shortening is fully incorporated into the flour. Next, gradually add your water, 1 tablespoon at a time, mixing with a fork after each addition until the dough starts coming together. Once it starts coming together, get your dough onto a lightly floured surface and knead it just until smooth and elastic. Don't overwork the dough, or else your pie crust will be tough. So divide the dough into 2 equal pieces. One piece will be slightly larger than the other. Roll out the larger piece of dough on a lightly floured surface to a 12-inch circle. This will be the bottom crust. Transfer the circle to a 9-inch pie plate. Gently press the dough into the bottom and up the sides of the pie plate. Trim any excess dough and then crimp the edges to make an attractive edge. We're going to set this aside for now and work on the top crust. Roll out the second piece of dough on a lightly floured surface to a 12-inch circle. We're going to cut 4 equal slits in the top of the dough. This will allow steam to escape while the pie is baking and also make the pie look prettier. Once you've cut your slits, we're going to set this top crust aside. Next, let's move on to the filling. Next, pour the meat pie filling into the bottom crust. It should look like this. We're going to cover the filling with the top crust, then crimp the edges to seal the pie. If you want to get fancy, you can cut some designs in the top crust. I didn't do that for this pie, but it is an option. Next, we're going to roll out some scraps of dough to make some decorative little cutouts. These cutouts will go on top of the pie to cover the slits that we made in the top crust. We're going to roll out 4 equal-sized balls of dough. Then roll out each ball of dough into a thin sheet. Cut out whatever shape you want. I made little squares for this pie. Place the cutouts on top of the pie to cover the slits in the top crust. We're going to brush the top crust with some milk and then sprinkle on some flaky sea salt. This step is optional. You can skip it if you want. Egg wash and sea salt will make the top crust golden hued and sparkly when the pie is done baking. And that is our finished pie. Now we're going to let the pie rest at room temperature for 10 minutes before baking it. This will allow the dough to relax and prevent the crust from shrinking during baking. While the pie is resting, preheat oven to 375 degrees F. Once the pie has rested, bake the pie for 30 minutes or until the crust is golden brown and the filling is bubbling. To prevent the crust from getting too dark, I placed a pie shield over the pie after 20 minutes of baking. You don't have to use a pie shield. You can just leave the pie alone. I just happen to have one. Also, the baking time may vary depending on your oven. If your oven runs hot, you may want to reduce the baking time by a few minutes. And here is our finished pie. Let the pie cool for at least 10 minutes before serving. This will allow the filling to set up and make it easier to slice. Here is a close-up of the inside of the pie. Look at that beautiful flaky crust. This pie tastes amazing. It has a flaky, buttery crust that's not too thick and not too thin. The filling is rich, flavorful, and not too heavy. It has a nice balance between the ground beef, vegetables, and the sauce. The vegetables in the filling are soft and tender, and the ground beef is cooked through and not dry. I served my pie with a side salad and some French fries. My whole family loved it. It was a hit. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you next time.